So my husband absolutely hates kale, but I've made something today that he thinks is pretty darn good. He recently lost 50 pounds, and so you can't really eat a lot of the salty potato chips, right? And you kind of miss that salt and crunch. So today I've made some cheesy kale chips that are packed with garlic and cayenne pepper flavor. They're really good and they're addicting. You hear that crunch? Really, really good. Now, you can make these in the dehydrator, and you want to do that if you are a raw food purist, because you can't bring it up to that heat, then it's no longer raw. Me, I don't care so much. I'm going to try out the dehydrator setting on my oven, which I've never used yet. But you can use your regular oven at, let's say, 275 and cook it for about 20 minutes. And I'll show you how. Now, when I say cheesy, I'm not actually using cheese. I'm using this premium yeast flakes, nothing else. So it's just nutritional yeast, which ends up tasting a bit cheesy. It's a favorite of vegans. And a lot of the recipes for cheesy kale chips use pureed cashews, which adds another flavor layer and actually, I guess, makes it more cheesy. But to me, if you're watching your weight, you're not going to add cashews to the snack, because then they'll end up with as many or more calories than the potato chips. So we're just using the nutritional yeast today. But if you don't have this, you can just sprinkle on grated Parmesan too. That would be absolutely fine. Now, to buy these chips is rather expensive. Here in Target, you'll see a 2-ounce bag is $4.39. Well, I kind of consider these chips almost free because I'm using the kale from my garden. You know, kale is wonderful. You pick off the leaves and it grows new ones. So you have kale all summer long. Now let's go out to the garden. Here's my kale. As you can see, it's doing very, very good. So I'm going to pick some of the leaves because then it will make more. Got a nice big pile of the kale. Over here is some I'm going to give the chickens. Kind of at the bottom, just didn't look as good. Now you can see my kale plants, they're trimmed up and they'll grow plenty and we can harvest again next week. First we have to clean our kale leaves. Just want to wash the leaves and make sure you don't have any little critters on them. And then you just take it off the rib, like this, and then just get it into bite-sized pieces and put it there. And that's all there is to it. Now some people take it off the rib first and then wash it. I think it's easier this way, but either way is fine. So you might wonder why we throw this part away. Okay, especially from here down, this is very, very tough. Be like eating, I don't know, a twig maybe. So you can save it and put it in your compost pile, or save it for making vegetable broth, or give it to your chickens, which is what I do. Now, it's good to have the kale leaves completely dry so the oil sticks to them. So I use a salad spinner. And next you want to dry the leaves. I think the easiest way to do it is use a salad spinner. Let's get it in there. Not much water. We'll do it one more time just to be safe. Really, these are pretty dry. And again, hardly any water. Now we're gonna toss our kale with olive oil, and I find it's good to do that in a separate bowl. And just add as much oil as you want, you know, 2 to 4 tablespoons. It really depends on how much kale you have. I do this in batches because it's kind of hard otherwise, so pour on some of your olive oil. Maybe about a big tablespoon. And then you want to really mix it in. Right? You want all the leaves to get a lot of the oil. I'm going to put in some more, because I had quite a bit of oil in that. Anyway, you get the idea. I'll be back. And then we're going to transfer these kale leaves to a baking sheet or your dehydrator tray, whatever you're using. And at this time, we're going to sprinkle on. Now, I'm using a combination of garlic powder, cayenne pepper, and salt. But you can use whatever you want. And of course, we're also putting on the nutritional yeast. Now, I have mixed up some garlic powder, some salt, and some cayenne pepper. So I'm just going to through. And really, other than salt, you don't have to put anything in. Just gives it a little added layer of flavor. Okay. Now the nutritional yeast. This is what's going to give it that cheesy flavor. Just a little more. Okay, this tray is getting ready to go in my oven. But I'm going to make up another one, so I'll be back. So this is the third tray, and I've overpacked it a little, kind of overcrowded, because usually you don't like it touching, but I wanted to get it all on. And as you can see, I'm very liberally putting salt all over. So now the 3 trays are ready for the oven. Now on my stove, I have a dehydrator setting, so I can just do quick start, do dehydrate, and then it asks me what temperature I want, and let's see, nope. And really, I should do it at a lower temperature if I cared about having it raw, but I'm going to do it at 170. But you can do it much higher in your oven. It will be fine if you don't care about it being raw, and it will get done much faster. But I wanted to try this because I haven't dehydrated my oven before. There we have it, all 3 trays, and it's about 10 to noon. So I'll tell you how long it took at 170 degrees. Now, if you're doing it in your oven at that 275, it might only be about 15-20 minutes. You want to check on it so it doesn't burn. Okay, right, they're crisp. Take a little taste here. Mmm. Melt in your mouth. Oh, and I got a lot of garlic on that one. I think they're done. Mmm. You hear that crust? Don't those look good? This one has got cheesy on it. Are these over, like you say, oh my gosh, is that cheesy? No. But trust me, they're good and addictive. So it only took 1 hour. I was surprised. And they really turned out crispy. Listen to that. Now, I might have overdone the garlic powder and the salt, but these still are darn good. So, if you have a family member that doesn't like kale, but you still want to give them all the nutritional benefits, or you're trying to find a lower calorie snack, try these kale chips. You'll be pleasantly surprised.